Hey everyone, welcome to the first Project Borealis development stream. This is the very first stream that we've done. We've been wanting to do them for a little while, so I'm super excited to finally be doing them. We are streaming some concept art today. It won't be me doing the concept art, it'll be Mike Yakovlev from the concept art team. I'm Sam from the PR team, and we're going to be drawing some ice zombies today. We showed you some of these sketches in Update 4, which you can find on our YouTube channel. But Mike's going to be doing some new variations on these, and we'll get into what he's going to be doing in a minute. We're just going to be chatting about the concept art, talking through what he's doing and why he's doing it. But if you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat, and I'll get them over to Mike.
Yep.
So, Mike, do you have a drawing already started, or are you kind of going on a blank canvas?
I'm just gonna do a warm-up sketch just to warm up a little bit before I go into the zombie stuff, because basically the zombie stuff is pretty straightforward, but I want to do a little quick wintry themed sketch just to warm up with the brushes and more everything.
Cool. So what kind of ice zombie sketches will you be doing? Because we had the ones in Update 4 that were like, showing from the front and the zombie with like various amounts of ice on it.
Yeah.
But what else needs to be done there?
So that was just one iteration of the ice on the zombie body and everything, but I want to do another one where I just want to kind of I want to do another round of different types of ice, maybe like a little bit less this time, because in that original concept, if you saw it, it was like pretty caked on there. Like he kind of turned into like a brute almost, and I want to do one where it's not so much like thick ice on it. It's a little bit more like caked on his clothing and stuff.
That's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that when it's finally in the game, or if it's in the game, because it might not be, right?
Yeah. Of course, we don't know anything. I don't know anything.
Some people in chat are asking if you're using a tablet. Do you want to talk just a little bit about what you're using in terms of tablet and software?
Yeah, I'm using this Photoshop, just Creative Cloud Edition, and I'm using a tablet. It's not a Wacom. It's like a Chinese knockoff. It's called a Huion, Huion tablet. And it's a pretty good tablet. Like it's pretty big. It's pretty affordable. Like I don't need like a Cintiq or anything like that. So I just I'm pretty used to using tablets, and that's kind of what I used. I used to have a really small Wacom bamboo tablet. It was really small. It was maybe like $100. I bought that back in college, and I had that for, I don't know how long. I had that for maybe 8 years or something until I bought this one, until I finally upgraded. And it wasn't just another Wacom tablet. It was just like a Chinese knockoff. But they're really good. They're equally as good as the Wacom tablets.
That's cool. Do you do all the drawing for PB on digital, or do you do any paper stuff?
Yeah. I don't think I've done some paper sketches, but I haven't used them in like. I've only done them like more for myself, like little studies of stuff. So I've done that, but I haven't done any. I haven't done any that I've submitted. We have artists on the team that do paper sketches and do some. Have been doing some of the recent stuff with paper.
Some people in chat asking, will Project Borealis be on Steam? Hopefully, maybe, unknown. We're aiming for it to be on Steam, but Valve would need to approve it, and we don't know if they will do that yet. We hope they will, but yeah, that's the intention, but we'll see if that happens or not. Someone else was asking if we could put some Half-Life music in the background. Do we have some music playing?
Let me see.
So I think we were going to play some Borealis tracks.
Yeah, so I have something playing now. It's going to be really quiet because for me, I want to be able to hear you perfectly. But let me know if it sounds loud to you or how it sounds in the chat.
All right, just let us know how it's going, chat. Someone's asking if they can buy this beautiful painting. But I'm curious, how is the process of doing what you're drawing at the moment? Because for me, it's like I can't even see it as an environment yet. So how do you kind of approach drawing something when you just can't see how it's going to turn out yet?
Yeah, well, I mean, for this one, I am looking at something. I'm looking at a picture of like a little ravine area, but hold on. So for this one, I am looking at a picture. I'm using a photo reference just to study as a warm-up. But for the actual stuff, the method that I use for the zombies, for example, it's different than this. This is very like expressive, and it's more for me to just kind of make a graphic painting. But for like, I can switch over to the ice zombie for a second. Like for this stuff, it's a lot of like photo bashing and stuff like that, just to make it quick and loose and get the details and everything in there and get the realism down quick. So for this stuff, there's a lot of like photo, and then there's a little bit of painting going on. For this one, it's just mostly painting, and what I'm doing is I'm kind of focusing on like the shapes and the shape design, and not really on like the detailed stuff.
Cool. Someone asked, I've lost the question. I had it. What are your main inspirations and references for the environment?
For the environment in the game?
Yeah, for the environmental concepts you're doing.
Main inspiration. Well, we just kind of like a lot of the stuff we look at is just like real world references. So if we kind of get an idea of what a certain setting or something is inspired by, we try to link it to some kind of real world place that it's inspired by, and then just kind of look at a lot of research, look at other games. A lot of games have done like similar environments to stuff that we're going to be exploring, so it's always fun to kind of look at how other games do it, other concept art. I have a bunch of books from other games, yeah, I mean, I look at everything. I look at mostly real world stuff because that's where you're going to get the most truest information, but also a lot of
what other games you
games. Like recently I've been looking at, I have this art book for The Last of Us. I've been looking at that a lot, and that has really cool environments. It's kind of like what's inspiring me to use these big broad strokes and broad shapes here, because in the concept art for that game is a lot of like very simple and graphic compositions, and I really like that. And I like the artists that worked on that game. They have some really beautiful artwork.
There's been a few games recently that have had snow in them. I'm thinking like God of War,
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption. Like, have you had a look at those at all?
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of Red Dead. The game is awesome.
That's cool. I wanted to play it, but I haven't got a PS4, unfortunately.
Oh, you gotta get one, dude. Just
I'll
get
think
yourself a
about it.
PS4. Just, I don't know. ask for one for Christmas, dude. You might get one.
Keegan asks, how do you think it's possible to make snowy and Arctic environments feel fresh and exciting for a whole game instead of slowly feeling boring?
Well, that really comes down to like game design too. That comes down to like level design, because the level,
Yeah.
I think a lot of times some of the stuff that gets overlooked is how good the level is, like how well it's making you go in a certain direction and you don't even think about it. I think that's good level design, right? Like good level design is you playing a game and making your way through an environment and it's engaging you, and you don't even realize like you're being led a specific path.
Yeah, that's a great point. And are you kind of trying to do concepts that kind of show a variety of landscape, you know?
Yeah, so when we're doing like environmental stuff, we work pretty closely with the level design people, the guys over at level design, and they kind of, there's a lot of back and forth of like, I'll say, I think it looks like this, and then the level designer will be like, nah, this looks like this. And they're like, okay. And then they'll give me a sketch or a block mesh or something, and I'm like, okay, I got it. And then we kind of just collaborate like that back and forth constantly.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm interested to learn a bit more about how that works, because like I see the concept art and I see the level design that's going on and the 3D modeling, but how do you like prioritize what gets worked on? How, like, obviously the modelers don't need concept of everything, so do they like request particular things?
Yeah, I think some of the bigger stuff like the set pieces and new things that, like for example, if they're gonna model a hammer or something like that, like a tool, they don't really need concept art for a hammer. But if they need like if there's a scene or some kind of unique asset or some kind of unique situation, most likely you're gonna need to do concept for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it's like stuff, even if it's something like most people generally know what it looks like, you still need to kind of, because there's a certain like design language that we have throughout the entire game. Like we have a look to everything, and it all needs to be consistent. So that's kind of like a really important part to designing a level, all the way to concept art, to assets, to environment art, everything needs to have like look like it's all part of the same universe.
Yeah, yeah. And on a related note, someone was asking if we have ideas and then you make concept art of them, or if you play with a bunch of ideas and then the team kind of selects ones that make sense, or both.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both of that. It's a little bit of both, because right now it's like on some ideas for what we want, it's kind of early, so there's no like model of it, anything yet. It's more just an idea. Like somebody will kind of mention like, oh, I think we're going to be encountering this thing in the game, or at this point we're going to encounter this character or something. So like, all right, how would that scene look? And then like there's a lot of concept art that happens before like level design does anything to do with it, or 3D models it. So at that point it's a lot of just like, what sounds cool, and do we have time to do we have the time or the resources to draw that out? So some people just kind of throw out fun ideas, and you can sketch them. Like you can spend 10-15 minutes on it. It doesn't have to be long, but that can sometimes foster itself into something, into a really like a serious idea that is worth kind of implementing into the game. So we kind of just let our artists like, yo, try this if you think it's a cool idea, if you think if it's inspiring you enough to want to build it and to sketch it out, do it. And then if you can kind of pitch it to the rest of the team as a cool idea, then we'll probably put it in the game, or we can figure out a place for it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool about how we're developing the game, is that because it's come from this sort of quite chaotic community origin where like everyone just sort of piled in and was like, yeah, I'll help.
Yeah.
So there's still that community aspect to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, talk about a little bit what you do.
Sure, yeah. So I'm on the PR team, which means I organize things like this. Generally anything on the project that's like public facing. So if some news asks for an interview, then generally like I'm either writing the questions or speaking to the rest of the team to get that to happen. Running the Discord or posting on Twitter, that sort of stuff is what I do.
To do all the fun stuff, interacting with the fans and everything.
It is a lot of fun. I mean, we have 700 people in the stream right now, which is kind of crazy. We really had no idea. Like,
I thought there was going to be
like interested.
3.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is great. A couple of people have asked if we've been able to contact Valve. We have tried to contact Valve, but they so far haven't really spoken to us. We don't know what they think of the game. We assume that they know about it, but we've not had any response from them.
They probably want to move on from that chapter of their life. Anything to do with Half-Life, they're just like, all right, enough.
Yeah, I think they just don't say anything about it anymore, right?
Yeah, I wonder when I know they stopped at some point, but I wonder when that was. I wonder who was the last person who got to ask them a question about Half-Life that they took seriously.
Yeah, well, the rumors I hear is that there's always someone trying to work on something Half-Life related, right? There's like all these groups pop up every so often where like a bunch of employees are like, hey, we should make Half-Life, and they try for a bit and then
at Valve.
Yeah, and then it falls through.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a shame, but that's why we're here. Someone asked why we're going with Unreal Engine, and was it clear from the beginning, or did it take some time to decide on it? It wasn't entirely clear from the beginning. I think in the first few weeks or first month, there was a lot of discussion about which engine to use. Obviously, a lot of people think that a Half-Life game like must be on Source, like there's no other option, must be on the Source engine. But when our programming team and other teams were deciding, they decided that Unreal was just a nice modern engine to work with. Source is pretty old, it's clunky in a lot of ways, and I'm not a programmer, so I can't go into the details on that. But they decided that if we were going to make this game, that was the engine that would be best to make it in, the easiest.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much accepted. Like we've the thing is, with those questions are really good because in the future, I'm sure we're gonna have streams with other developers, like not just concept art stuff. And we'll have maybe some programmers on there, and you can ask like more technical questions like that, or we can have some modelers on that. It's like a theme. Like each stream can be a theme, where it'll be either concept art but generally speaking, we'll always kind of talk about the same stuff. and give you little
definitely.
updates on stuff. Yeah, I think this is more of like a test stream for us to be like, is there interest? Like, clearly we have a pretty large fan base, especially on YouTube, but is there that interest to kind of stick around and watch us create like just work on stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I've kind of had like half a plan to do this for a long time now, so I'm pretty happy to be finally doing it. A bit of an off-topic question. Someone asked if you're excited for Artifact.
Ooh.
A
I'll let
controversial
you answer that one.
I am excited personally. I'm wary about the monetization, but apart from that, I'm looking forward.
I don't think I ever got into those kind of the card games. Like, I think the last card game I played was probably like Pokemon or something, or like Yu-Gi-Oh or something when I was a kid. But I don't think I ever got into that whole trend of playing the card games on computer.
Yeah.
I know you.
I got to Hearthstone.
I know you can do it for a while. Couldn't you play like Magic the Gathering and stuff on your computer? Can't you do that?
Oh yeah. You still can, yeah.
So it's crazy how like when Hearthstone or whichever one's the popular one, when that came out, it was like suddenly like a new thing, but it's been happening for a long time.
Yeah, I enjoy it, and looking forward to Artifact. Oh, thank you, Keegan. I appreciate that. He said that we could stream whenever we feel like it, whatever we're working on, and people would appreciate it.
I would love that. I know that from a PR standpoint, it's a little bit like we need to kind of have a little bit more organization. But hey, I'm the type of person I'm like, yo, I got a thing I want to work on, and let's see who's up to watch me work on it. Just work on some stuff. We're always making concept art, and unfortunately, a lot of it's probably never going to get seen. But it's just if you can make it live, why not?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure when we finish the game, it's published and everything that made it in, we can publish all of that stuff that we were kind of playing around with.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, the difficulty is, right, that like we could show all this cool concept art and everyone would be like, whoa, you're doing this in the game, you're putting that in the game, and it's like, well, maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah, that goes back to the whole thing of like concept art and like how we decide on what to add to the game or what to add to the roster of art that needs to get done. And a lot of that is just like, yeah, well, this is cool, but it totally goes against everything like Half-Life. Just because you're kind of you're getting your ideas out, you're throwing everything at the wall when you want to see what's interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do that, and sometimes it's like, that's a cool idea, but that's totally for like a different game.
Yeah. Someone says we should make a concept art book.
That would be cool. I'm always down for that.
Cool.
I would say like, I've heard on more than one occasion from various people on our team who aren't artists say to the concept art that we post internally, just like, I want that on my wall. I want a print of that.
Yeah, I know this is I feel bad for saying it, but there is some really cool concept art that I've seen that we haven't shown publicly yet.
Yeah.
We'll show it one day, I promise. For people who joined since the start, what is it you're drawing? I'm
drawing a quick sketch of a little like snowy ravine just for a warm up, and then I'm gonna get into the ice zombies. I mean, we got plenty of time. I don't even know how much time it's been since we started, right?
It's been 20 minutes.
Okay, I'll give this maybe another like 10 minutes of love, and then we can move on.
Cool. Are we looking like top down here?
No. I think I'm just doing a bad job of explaining how we're looking at it. Let me put a little figure in there, and it'll all come together. Classic concept art thing. You just put a little dude in there.
I'm sorry for saying. Are we looking at something that's entirely not what you're drawing?
So if I put a little dude in there, I don't know if that makes any more sense. You know what? It doesn't matter. This is an official concept art. I can fuck up. I can make it look weird. This is more
Oh, I see. We're looking along the ravine, right?
Yeah. Kind of like looking into it.
I see.
I need to remove this little part.
I think I hadn't seen the horizon.
Yeah. I just need to clean up some of the brush marks. It'll sort itself out.
17 Degree asks you, what is your opinion on the artwork that was done for Half-Life 2?
The artwork for Half-Life 2, I thought it was cool. I liked how different everything was. That was the thing that was kind of surprising to me. It's like you don't see that with like current gen games too much. It's like you don't see the like different styles too much. Like everything is very even the art books, right? Like the art books are very they're curated and everything is picked to be the best version, to be the best like looking sketch. I know that for some art books they even take like concepts that they've already done and then ask the artist to give it like a couple more hours so that it looks ready to present in a book. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, because you know the book is kind of like a advertising for the game, so you want it to all look really nice. But I liked all the artwork for Half-Life because it was like some of it was like a pencil drawing, some of it was a little like marker sketch, and it was all kind of all over the place. And it's really cool to see how they took a wide variety of artists and a lot of concept art and then made a game that was like art visually all the same and unique.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think that's hard to do, and I think that comes from having a really good art director.
Yeah. Someone asked if we're competing with Borealis or if we're both going for the same goal. For context, Borealis is another Epistle 3 game, but it's done on the Source engine. And we're very much not competing with them. We're super excited for that game.
Yeah.
You know, we started making this game because we were excited for Half-Life 2 Episode 3 or Half-Life 3. But now we know all the secrets about what a game's going to be like, so we're excited to play a game where we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're excited to play a version of Episode 3 that isn't made by us. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And they have an update coming out. I'm excited for that. We got an update coming out in like 3 days, man.
Yeah.
Like, what's that about? I'm excited.
Yeah. Speaking of things that are coming out in 3 days, you were recently interviewed for a NoClip documentary, right?
Yeah, I was part of it. Yeah, with our 3D artist and one of our project managers.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
That was
so in the next couple of days, weird. I don't know if people in chat are aware of the NoClip documentary series. They make documentaries on video games, but a few of our guys are going to be in the Half-Life documentary, which is releasing in the next couple of weeks.
Man, I was just bugging out the whole time. I'm like, why are we here? I can't believe this is like for real happening.
Yeah.
Like, just some dude. Just like we all met up. Like we've never met before. I've never met the 3D artist. I met our project manager once because he lives near me, like not too far. But it was just like we're just like random people off the internet who are like just happen to be super diehard fans of this game and working together on this project. You know, it's just such a odd like. It's just such an odd like scenario to be in, to find yourself in. You know.
Yeah.
Like if I was gonna tell you you're gonna be working on Episode 3 like 5 years ago, I'm like, what? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Yeah, I mean it's weird because like on the one hand we just see ourselves as a bunch of fans that like want to make a game because it's a game we were looking forward to, and then there's this whole like community that are like, okay, great, you're making Half-Life 3 now. Don't fuck up.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's kind of scary. Eric asks, will any exclusive content be shown in the NoClip documentary? You'll have to watch it and see.
I'm looking forward to the NoClip documentary just because of like I'm looking forward to all the interviews they did because they interviewed like the creative director I think for God of War. That game was super fun. Yeah. And I know like there was like a thing about when the game came out. He was like there was a video of him like crying to the review scores or something like that. Did you see that?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, it was like what was that Metascore or something like that, like some kind of game score that's like really important. And
Metacritic.
Metacritic, yeah. And he was basically like he recorded himself, I guess, going and like looking at the score after the game came out, and he was like crying because it got like a really really high rating. I was just like, damn, dude, that's really like
that's awesome.
It's really like I can feel for him like that passion of like probably working on a game for so long. It's really interesting being in that position now, kind of like being in the position of working on something and kind of like in for lack of a better term, seeing how the sausage get made as a gamer, you know, and then like, oh man, I can see why like there's so much like, you know, how I can see how hard it is, and I can totally empathize with other game developers who have to work on this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's you get the more of an understanding of why Valve, you know, never made episode 3. You know, there's always rumors that the pressure was too much and people were expecting too much, and I think we see some of that now. It's like, I mean, there are 600 people watching you draw right now, right?
Just listening to
like,
me and you babble on.
Yeah, like people want this game to come out, they want it to be good, and that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but right now, while it's still like in its early stages, we're having fun. We just kick it, having fun.
Yeah.
We have fun with the people in the stream. We hang out with you guys.
Yeah. Let's see, what other questions do we have in the chat? Carl Bailey asks, where are you guys based? We are based pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
We have people working on the project in the US, in Canada, in the UK, in Europe, in India, in Australia, Russia. Yeah, all over the place. You know, we're not working in an office. We don't have anyone working together in person. You know, we're purely doing this online.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting dynamic in itself, right? Like,
We're like a decentralized game studio.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the first thing. I wonder if we're the first to do that. I wonder. I bet not. But I wonder.
I'm sure not. I mean, maybe at this size.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe that.
I mean, I'm sure we're not the first, but I doubt there are many teams that are this size that are, you know, all remote.
Sam, I got a question for you.
Go for it.
What's the last thing that you learned? What's the most recent thing that you learned that you didn't know before?
Oh, that's a good question.
I got a bunch of those.
The last thing I learned. Well, I'm learning to drive at the moment, so that's a new thing I learned.
Really? You don't know how to drive?
No, I never learned.
What?
I decided
because
it
of
was
like
finally
Uber
time.
and stuff.
I live in a city. Yeah, there's good public transport.
Yeah, I feel like if I lived in the city, like I wouldn't even buy a car.
Yeah, even when I pass, I don't think I'm going to.
Why are you getting it now? Why are you learning now?
I just figured it was finally time, you know. I'd like to be able to rent a car sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I just want
Have you ever driven a car, like even just like with your parents or something like that, in the car with you?
Not outside of the tests, no.
Huh? Are you scared?
Yeah. Well, I've had like 10 lessons now, so not so much anymore.
Okay.
I was.
I remember when I first started driving, it felt weird. Like it sounds irresponsible, but it felt like a video game. Like to me, I was like, oh, I've like played a lot of racing games, so it kind of feels like I'm playing a game, even though I know I'm not.
I feel like I have that, but it's like a negative effect, you know? Like I expect to be able to drive the joystick or something.
I think we're nearly done with this thing.
It's looking pretty cool.
Yeah. Maybe if I can add like a little bit of footsteps or something.
Yeah, that'd be neat. Dimitrov's Vocals asks, do you believe that Half-Life 3 is ever going to come out?
Half-Life 3?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Does it need to? I guess that's really the question I always think of, like, besides fans really wanting these games, do they really need to come out? Valve was clearly making like plenty of money doing other things, and if they were gonna make a game or something like that, they would probably, like, that was kind of their thing, is that they would always make games based on like the current tech, or always pushing the limits of technology and stuff. I think the next thing they do is going to be something to deal with, like, if they come back into video games, they want to come back in a big way, and they're probably going to hope that whatever tech they're using is what's selling the game, not like the game itself.
Yeah,
because like it would be hard, you know, like if they release a game, if they release Half-Life 3 for like VR or something, then it's gonna sell. They're not gonna know if it's selling because of the tech or because of its Half-Life 3.
Yeah, I think it's important to distinguish, and someone just asked, do we think that Project Borealis is going to be Half-Life 3? It's important to say that, like, Half-Life 2 Episode 3 and Half-Life 3 are different things. Like, Episode 3 is just the end of that short trilogy, right, of smaller games. And Half-Life 3 would be a bigger thing that changes the series in a bigger way, so
Yeah.
in that sense, we're not doing Half-Life 3, we're doing Episode 3.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't Valve originally planning to do like many episodes? Like
yeah, there was like an Episode 4 in the works, right?
Yeah.
The Return to Ravenholm.
So I don't know. I mean, like it sounds like they had like a business model they wanted to try out for like episodic games, and then maybe it didn't work out, or they just the kind of golden goose they were gonna use for pushing that kind of business model forward. You know, they got less inspired.
Yeah.
So they just decided to go a different direction.
Yeah. Just a quick question about your work. I noticed sometimes you like flip the canvas from one side to the other. Why do you do that?
That's good for this music sound. That's for so when you're looking at something for a long time, you kind of get used to looking at it. But when you flip it, you see it from like a totally that kind of like that comfort of looking at it from a specific spot. It's like disjointed, so then you look at it and you see all the imperfections, you see all the, like if you're painting a face or something, you won't notice maybe it's leaning a little bit to the right, and then when you flip it, you're like, wow, it's totally leaning to the right, and then you kind of adjust for that.
That's
so
interesting.
Yeah, sometimes it looks like a totally different piece when you have it flipped. Like it has a totally different vibe and atmosphere to it.
Yeah. Someone in chat is asking, is this the April Fool's music?
Yeah,
I'm
it
actually
is.
listening to the stream. Is it the April Fool's track?
It is. Should I go to the next one?
I think it's hilarious though.
I like it.
I was saying to someone the other day that that April Fool's track went through like multiple revisions of terribleness.
Yeah.
Like someone posted it one day, and I was like, that is not awful enough. It needs to be worse.
It needs to have more meme in it. Yeah.
Blockistic asks, how is the project managed? It seems extremely professional and competent compared to some other project. Well, thank you. We appreciate that it looks like that. We have a few project managers on the team who kind of keep us heading in the right direction overall. And then each team has like a team lead that has more of a say in what that team does specifically. So Mike, who's doing the drawing, is the lead for the concept art team, and I'm the lead for the PR team. We kind of guide what those teams do. But I appreciate you saying that it seems professional.
I think it helps because we have like professional people on the team. Like it's definitely one of those things where from the very beginning we had like a lot of professional people, like a handful, and then people who were not professional but slowly over time became professional, you know? Like when I came into the project, there was a handful of people who were maybe like who didn't consider themselves to be a professional artist or something, and they were kind of a student or something. They weren't doing it like for money or anything like that. They were just still learning it. But within that year, I would say that they're professional now. Like their work has increased like tenfold. The quality of it at least. And we have either professional people working on the team, working with us, or we have professional attitudes. So a lot of the people who are not professionals, they have professional attitudes, and that just gets them quicker. And I think that's one of the most helpful things to have is a team that's takes itself seriously in what they're doing and cares about it.
Yeah. So, someone asks, when you're flipping the artwork from one side to another, do you ever forget which way it was originally?
Sometimes I do, yeah. And I think like when I flipped it too many times and I start to not notice like anything wrong with it, and then I'm like, I don't know, I can't decide which angle looks better. I think that's when you know you're at a good spot, because you flip it a bunch of times and you're like, it works this way and this way, and that means that you're not noticing like the problems anymore. You're just kind of, you know, at that point it's not about the problems, it's more about just your own personal preference. That's a good spot to be. I think this one's pretty much done.
It's looking good. How do you decide when you're like done? Do you have to kind of just stop yourself because you keep finalizing it forever?
Yeah, I mean that's always a struggle with art. It's like an internal struggle because there's like a saying with art, like you're never done, you just run out of time. And with something like this, which is just a personal quick study, I'm just giving myself a little bit of time in the beginning to warm up and to get comfortable again, and then I can move on to these guys.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is kind of a new look because we haven't shown this specifically yet. We've only shown the ice versions with the ice on them. But we haven't shown the little like with their heads exposed and everything.
Yeah, so the ice one was basically the first one, right? That's what we showed an update for.
Yeah, it was this guy, then copied, and then ice progressively like thicker and thicker on his shoulders and chest and everything.
And so what are you aiming to do with it today?
So with this one, I wanna just look at some. I have some photo reference on the side here, and I'm gonna just start kind of like quickly laying on what ice would look like or what snow would look like on them, and I'll bring in photos and everything like that, and just kind of do what I usually do when it comes to doing this kind of concept. So I'm just gonna start and doodle ice and snow and kind of in my interpretation of what that would look like, and then start bringing in some photos to really spice it up.
Awesome. Someone asks where the idea for the fluffy head crab came from. Do you know? I actually don't know who originally did that.
I did that one originally, and this version looks way different than the one that's like out there on the internet now. But I think there was a loose idea of how they would kind of like be created by the Combine to fit the Arctic environment. And that was just kind of one of those things where the idea was out there and it was kind of talked about, like, yeah, that could happen. And then I was like, I'm gonna just draw that, like I'm gonna paint that or sketch that or whatever, just to see how it looks, because they are just skin, like they're bald. So I just quickly made this little speed painting of it and threw it in the Discord, and people reacted pretty well to it. They're like, oh shit, that's actually kind of cool. And it looks like, I think it's different when you have an idea, when you're talking about an idea, it's different from when you actually see it, and that can have like a different impact on it. So it was good to have done that, because it then took all of that kind of hypothetical conversation of what it might look like and made it real, and then people could react to it like more objectively of how it looks. They can be, oh yeah, I like that, I don't like that, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. Like I made it because there was some discussion around it, and then it wasn't hated, so we kind of kept it around. Eventually put it in the update, and fans responded to it however they did. They seemed not to hate it either, and we're like, okay, I guess we're doing this. We're gonna have to make this make sense now.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, that's cool, because I think it's I think it might have been you that was talking about this, that it's one of those examples of the fine line that we have between adding new things to the game while not adding too much.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah,
we want to
finding
make this
that
episode
balance.
3 that's like a natural small progression from episode 2, but also we're going to a complete new place, so obviously there's going to be different things in there. We're going to come up with some new ideas. Speaking of which, someone said, do you often contribute to lore, or do you leave that mostly to the lore team? So I guess lore or writing, you know, to what degree does the concept art feed into the writing team, or to what degree do they say, hey, we're having this, and then you have to draw out of it?
That's a good question. Let me think. So it's a little, I would say it's a little bit of both again with that, because like more often than not, like if it's a specific plot point or specific area of the game where writing is pretty confident in how it's gonna play out, like if they have it kind of on lock on how exactly it's gonna play out and what's happening, and it makes sense from every perspective, then we kind of stay pretty close to the lore and we don't change anything, or we don't try anything crazy. But then if it's a place where they're like not super certain about how it's gonna look or anything like that, and level design hasn't chimed in on how it's gonna look, then that's when we kind of experiment and play around with how it might look from an artistic standpoint.
Someone asks, what will the Dyson Sphere scene look like?
Oh my god, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question because that's pretty challenging, right? It's one of those things that you read in the epistle and you think, oh, that's a really neat idea. That sounds cool.
It sounds cool.
And then you think like, how do you show the scale of a boat next to a sun, right?
It's like yeah, the scale. Yeah, it's bigger than the sun. It's like
that's so
all the way
absurd.
around the sun. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's such a bizarre change of scale that like, how do you show that? Yeah,
man,
that's a good question.
That's gonna be a hell of a thing to show. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of concept art, a lot of sketches for it, because there's gonna be a lot of like, it's like a challenge in composition, a challenge in cinematography and everything, and how you show this thing and how you sell its size without, sometimes you can sell the size of something without showing the full version of it, without showing the whole thing, like just by having something next to it with scale. Like we see Earth next to we kind of see Earth next to the sun, but we don't show this whole sun in the shot, but you can still get an idea. I'm like, damn, that's a big ass sun.
Yeah. Radio Arts asks what your favorite piece of work that you've done so far is.
So I mean, the go-to is to say the furry head crab, but only because that has gotten the most interesting of a reaction. But I'd probably say the ice zombie, because I was really happy with how that turned out, and I was happy that no one really like when it got put into the update, I was really happy, but with the recent update specifically, there wasn't a lot of like, I don't think like fan reaction to the concept art, and I take that as a good sign, because if no one's outraging over some of the artistic choices we're making and stuff like that, then hey, that means we're doing something good. We're doing it right?
Yeah, and I think in update 4 we showed more like
over again. We're back. We're still alive, right? We're still good.
Hey, sorry about that, guys.
I don't know what happened
there. The stream disconnected for a
I
while.
gotta hurry up. I gotta quickly draw faster. Hurry up before the stream crashes again. Oh god.
Yeah, looks like we're back. Thanks for sticking through, guys. Not sure what happened there, but looks like we're back.
Yeah, those that left, they're just missing out. So bad for them.
So for those of you that are just joining us, we are with Mike Yakovlev from the Concept Art team, and he's doing some ice on the zombie concepts that we have. We showed some of these in Update 4, but he's doing some more variations on it with varying amounts of ice, and with the zombie kind of turned around in different ways.
Oh.
If you've got questions, stick them in the chat, and we will try to answer them.
This is my favorite brush for snow, because it makes it look like there's like little tufts of snow kind of caked to it. It's really cool.
It seems like the stream might have gone down briefly again, but I think we're back.
Really?
Like briefly, and a few people said rip, but I think it's back. I think we're good. Someone asked what the chemistry is like between the Project Borealis team. Is it friendly or professional? I'd like to say both.
Sam, don't shut your mouth.
That's very neat. I'm gonna go cry now.
It's pretty good, surprisingly. Like, I think, because of like we don't know each other outside of this project and outside of our passion for it. Like, I don't know you. Who are you? Who are you?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, right, with so many people that almost none of us knew each other before we started this project.
I don't think I knew anybody before we started this project. Did you know anybody on the team before you started working, or before you got on the project? I didn't know anyone. Crazy.
Yeah, I know there's a few people who've come on, who already knew someone and kind of found out about the project that way. But
yeah,
apart from that,
yeah.
Let's see. Someone asked if we got any reaction from Valve when we started showing Project Borealis. Not that we know of.
Yeah.
We've not heard anything. Someone else asking about legal trouble. Yeah, like they haven't said anything to us, one way or the other. But Valve have historically been pretty good with projects like this, right? They allow games like Hunt Down the Freeman, and Portal Stories Mel, Portal Stories VR, all sorts of Half-Life and Portal games. So we're quietly confident that they'll be fine with it, but we don't know for certain yet.
Yeah, I would assume they're aware of this, but they're just like not gonna no comment, like not gonna say nothing.
Yeah. Someone asking if this is Half-Life 2 Episode 3 or if it's a brand new game. So this will be based on Epistle 3, which is supposedly, presumably, the plot for Half-Life 2 Episode 3. We're not aiming to make Half-Life 3 with like all these big changes and new systems. We're trying to make a game that's a natural progression from Episode 2.
Yeah, which is a creative challenge within on its own, because we're making it Unreal, we're making it for the current gen. We want it to look like it's made, for this generation, but we also don't want to be like too crazy and too different. We also want to like impress everyone. We want everyone to see that we are doing our best and trying to make it look as good as we can.
Yeah, we're making a game in 2018, so that means we have to add loot boxes, right?
oh, definitely, dude. Zombie loot boxes.
That was a joke before I get messages in like a week's time saying, but you confirmed loot boxes, didn't you? What was that thing that happened before? Someone made a joke on the subreddit about us having Facebook age verification.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone was like, haha, what a funny joke. And then like a month later, someone said like, so that Facebook age verification.
Is that real?
Thing,
yeah.
That's happening, right? Like what?
Yeah. That's when Sam steps in and be like, all right, you shouldn't have said that.
Quit joking.
Yeah, no jokes allowed.
Shane asks how much the game is going to cost. We're currently aiming for it to be free.
$0.
Hopefully.
Just 5 easy payments of $0.
You have to buy a loot crate for $0 and then a key for $0, and then the loot box might have the game in.
Might not. We'll just send you a box that. Okay.
Will there be VR support in Project Borealis? Probably not. At least not, by us at release. Adding VR support to game is quite an undertaking. It takes a lot of effort. So we're aiming to get the game out in 2D only, and maybe VR support is something we look at afterwards, after the game's released, or maybe someone else wants to look at adding that to the game.
Half-Life 2D, side scroller.
I'm sure I saw a game like that.
Half-Life?
Not too long ago. Yeah, like someone had made a mod or a Flash game or something. It was like a 2D Half-Life. Pretty neat.
Get some photos in here.
You might know the answer to this one. 17 Degrees says, are female zombies planned?
I mean, I don't know.
You're allowed to answer that.
Am I?
Yeah, because I say so.
Okay. Well, then you answer it. I don't want to get in trouble.
You're working on some female zombie concept art, right?
I don't know, man.
We're playing around with the idea. We're seeing how it goes.
Yeah, that's one of those things where we're just like trying, see how.
I'm not committing to it.
Into the game, yeah.
Yeah. Playing around.
We're not against it, but we're definitely like, that's the thing is like, there's a lot of ideas where we're just kind of trying them out, try it out, see how it works, and what we think, and if it fits like into the lore or anything like that. If it fits, if we can make it make sense, not specifically like female zombies, but just other things like within that realm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely played around with that idea already.
Someone asked how are we guys gonna make money out of this? The short answer is we're not. We're doing this purely because we want to make this game.
Yeah, it's basically just like a passion project. Like when you work on your like personal artwork, you're not doing it for money. You're doing it just because you want it to exist.
Mm.
I love this track so much. I love our music so much. Like I listen to it when I work. It's so inspiring.
Yeah,
I
I'm really glad
blast
the
it.
community likes it as well, because it's one of those things that every update we put some music out, people are like, this is awesome. I like it.
Yeah, we've been putting it up on that YouTube channel recently too.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's
Yeah,
like
it's so
I
good.
think I think that the music is probably the most Half-Life thing that we have on the project. Like it's so good. And I know our music composers are gonna hear this and give me crap for kissing up, but it's good.
Yeah. A couple of people asked if we had a Kickstarter or a Patreon or something. We have not. We kind of think that adding money to the project would add more complications than solutions at this point. So we are working for free. We're going to release the game for free. At least that's the current intention.
Yeah.
So no Patreon or Kickstarter.
Yeah, we have a lot of people on the project. A lot of people come and go. So as soon as you involve money, it's just gonna create a bunch of like it's like people might, we want that crazy type of fan that wants to do this for free and just wants to be like on a team and make a game kind of that everyone's kind of been waiting for.
Yeah.
It definitely takes a unique type of person to work on this project, but as soon as you include money, it just complicates everything and becomes hard to manage.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone else asking if the game will be on Steam. Hopefully, but that depends on what Valve thinks of us. We haven't.
Didn't you
confirmed
answer that
yet.
already?
Yeah.
Okay, I
People come
was
and
like,
go.
I got
People come and
deja
go.
vu. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. I'm sure they weren't here when I answered it before. Yes, Lambda, I did say free.
Did you say free? 5 easy payments are free, man.
I'm not gonna put that in writing and sign it, but yes, that is what we're planning. Is there going to be any PB storyboard artist stream in the future, and do we even have storyboard artists?
We do. Some of our concept artists are storyboard artists too. I don't know about storyboard art, because then it's like, well, first of all, the thing about storyboard art is it looks kind of bad most of the time. Like it's not pretty. It's just kind of getting the visual out there of what you want. So it might not be like a really interesting thing to watch because looks kind of like it's like very unimpressive, the art, especially for it.
Yeah, but we'll see. We might have a stream with that. I'm sure we'll definitely show some in a development update at some point, if nothing else.
Yeah. I think we might do that first, kind of just see what the reaction is, and then if people dig it, if people think it's cool, or if people are like, "What is this ugly sketch?" at like 3 minutes into the update.
Yeah.
You guys are supposed to be professional.
Blockistic asks, would reading Epistle 3 completely spoil playing this game? Are you telling me that you
No.
haven't read Epistle 3? I thought everyone had read it by now. I mean,
It wouldn't.
yes, I mean, kinda, but not really.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna know what the major plot points are, right? You're gonna know where the game starts and where it ends, and mostly what happens in between, but there's like so many details to fill in, right? There's like, there's maybe 10, 15 major plot points in Epistle 3, and you can't make a 6 to 8 hour game based on that. So there'll be a lot of details, so you won't be completely spoiled. There's even a chance that we might change some details from Epistle 3, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good answer. Like you'll get like the gist, the general stuff spoiled, but there's a lot of like stuff we're not necessarily like adding too much, but there's a lot of stuff we're like embellishing and kind of expanding upon that adds like a whole new level of like interest to the whole story.
Yeah. Someone asked if this is a concept art video or if we're answering questions while doing it, and I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or not.
I don't know either. This is live.
Draw us a big smiley face.
Smiley face. Angry face. Angry face. Anybody remembers that, huh? And your face. Oh no, I'm drawing all on one layer. Figure out how to start incorporating some ice. I think I gotta bring in a photo. There's this photo I was using for all the ice. This was like the main photo I used for a lot of the zombie concept art. It's super awesome. It's such a good photo.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I kind of recognize some of the icicle shapes from the update for zombie.
Yeah, I think I had it like this on the shoulder or something like that.
Yeah. So, are you going to integrate this directly then, like kind of paint over it, or will you like ultimately remove the actual image?
No, I'm just gonna integrate it into it. Yeah.
How much does that happen when you're drawing stuff? You know, like incorporating things either from like real images or from models, or
Almost all the time. Almost all the time, yeah. Because we want it to look realistic, but we don't want to like spend a billion years on it, like drawing an icicle and making it look super realistic, you know. So we just like find a photo that's like royalty free or like no copyright on it, and then fit it into the piece. And like there's a lot of pictures that I've taken myself. There's a lot of pictures that people on the team have shared.
Scorched Coffee says you need to put ice on the intestines, but no rush.
Oh my god. Ooh, you're right. Yeah, they would be frozen. They would totally be frozen. That's a good we just collaborated there with the community, man.
PB community collaboration in progress.
Yeah. This game is developed by everyone. I'm gonna have to probably sketch some stuff out because I don't know how it's gonna look. I'm just gonna sketch it out first.
Sure. 17 Degree asks if we can do a level design stream sometime. Yeah, sure, we definitely can. We'll have to find a place that doesn't spoil something about the story, because we still want to leave that a surprise when the game releases. But
I gotta say, 17 Degrees seems to be like one of the most active people right now in the chat, and
they also have one of the easiest names to read.
Yeah,
which helps.
They're like upstream commentator right now. Get that award.
Displacer asks how the frozen zombies move. Do we have a good sense of how that's gonna look in game yet?
I don't think so, but they essentially, like, if you look at the original concept, I don't have it pulled up, but there was like, it goes from no snow to like more ice to like just completely encased in ice. And the idea, I think, is when they're completely encased in ice, they kind of like limp and they walk really slowly, like they can only move their legs and nothing else. And maybe it acts like a shield or something like that, so it creates like almost a new enemy just because of the weather and how it's affecting them. But
so maybe something like they take more hits to kill, but they're slower, something like that.
Yeah, like probably like if we were to put the big boys in there, then they would probably take like the most. It would take some time to kill, and maybe they would shatter or break in like an interesting ways. We haven't really explored that far beyond just how they look.
Sure.
But yeah, that's kind of like they probably more of them would move the same as they always do, but some of the really visually different ones would probably move a little different. Like they'd probably limp or move a little bit slower. And they already move really slow. Yeah, the ice zombie is another one of those things where we were kind of talking about it, kind of like the furry head crab. We talked about it a bunch, and we thought about how would it work in the game, how would it look, and like we don't really know, but let's draw it first and then see how it looks. And then once we draw it, we're like, all right, cool. Like you can already start kind of brainstorming how it might work, how it might look, all those kind of things on after it's already being implemented.
Yeah.
Like,
table legs.
Oh, table legs. Sounds familiar.
Table legs, who, by the way, I noticed replying to almost everyone's questions on the YouTube comments, so I have to give him mad props for that.
Yeah, mad props to table legs.
Table legs asks if we'll be able to like make holes in the snow. That's something
we have to. We have to. I mean, you know, with Red Dead, with God of War, this is a current gen game. We have to. Like, I don't know if it is, but I say we have to.
You don't know, but definitely yes.
I don't know, but it better be in it. Goddammit.
Yeah, we're playing around with that. Hopefully we can show something off in a future development update. With the snow.
I love that so much in games right now. I think like it seems like a trend. It seems like a popular thing to be doing in video games, and I love it. It's so fun, especially in Red Dead Redemption. Like they have snow, but they also have swamps that you can walk around in swamps and it makes like the squishing sound, and it's pretty much the same kind of technology that the snow is done with, but it's so cool. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think I've seen like clips of Red Dead and God of War posted in our development Discord so many times of people being like, "This snow looks awesome. Can we do this?"
Who was the person that said I need to put icicles on the intestines?
Oh, I don't remember, but it is happening.
There we go. The thing would shatter like first. You would move and like just shatters.
Yeah. Someone asking if we're going to get an alpha or some kind of open testing. Kinda. We're not going to be doing like some kind of early access or beta for the main game, but we are releasing a tech demo, which will be set in Ravenholm. You'll be able to play through the Half-Life 2 level in our new engine with all of our new shiny graphics and gameplay. And you can kind of let us know how that feels, if it feels like Half-Life 2, so that we can make some changes before the main game. But we're not planning to like early access or anything. Yes, we do plan to stream more often. This is the first development stream that we've ever done, so we're kind of experimenting, seeing how it goes. But we would love to do more. I'd love to get other teams on.
We might have more people on it too. Like, if the next stream we do would be like modeling or something like that, we would also like, there's nothing stopping us from just turning this into like a PB podcast, with like a bunch of our. Because once me and you were like, hey, we're gonna do this live stream, there was already a couple people on the team like, oh, I want to like stream whatever I'm doing. I want to stream what I'm working on. So there's already interest from just internally.
Yeah, our programming lead was talking about maybe implementing a new weapon in the game on stream, which I think would be pretty cool. I don't know how chat feels about that, but I think that'd be cool. Someone asking if there's going to be bull squids and eye hounds. We're playing around with some of those ideas. Can't really confirm what's definitely going to be in the game at this point, but we're playing with it. Someone, Edios Malai suggests that we give the ice zombies a special attack, like they shoot ice spikes out of their claws.
Oh snap!
I just imagine them throwing them like daggers towards you.
Yeah, they would be kind of like just flinging the icicles off of their hands, happen to go in your direction. Yeah, like this icicle hand stuff. I haven't even. I'm just kind of painting it as. I'm kind of coming up with it as I'm painting it, so I didn't realize that it would make their already gross, long, skinny fingers even more long and gross and skinny.
Yeah, it's looking really cool.
Imagine like sleeping and then suddenly an ice zombie like rubs the back of its hand on your cheek.
Oh my god, you're gonna give me nightmares.
This like cold, gross hand. That would be something that happens in that show, The Haunting on Hill House.
Yeah.
Have you been watching any more of that, by the way?
No, I only watched the first episode.
God, gotta keep watching it.
I might. I don't watch many TV shows.
What do you watch? Do you watch any TV?
Not really.
Aww.
I play a lot of games. I do a lot of Project Borealis work.
Yeah. What are you into? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say someone was asking. I've lost the question now. If we were gonna do some kind of surreal elements with the Borealis,
Ooh.
And I think so. I don't think we've got to the stage of doing any concept art for that stage of the game yet, right?
Yeah, no, we haven't done any kind of artwork. We haven't like visually developed that stuff yet. That
But
stuff I can't
yeah,
wait to do it though. There's a lot of parts about the story that's like in the that has been mentioned in the blog post and that is original to us that I just cannot wait to get to. But we have to be patient. We have to work on some of the more boring concepts that you know not exciting to look at. But there's a lot of stuff I'm just like, oh my god, I'm gonna be so jealous of whatever artist gets tasked with that. Like just because I'm the lead concept artist doesn't mean I always get to work on like the really fun, awesome stuff. I try to leave that more to the rest of the team because I want them to enjoy, working on the project and creating cool artwork. More often than not, I'm just like either doing storyboards or something boring. Except for right now, this is a fun one.
someone asked how long we've been on the project. When did you join?
I think I joined about a year ago. Yeah. When did you join?
I think I joined in February. Like the project had been going for about 4 or 5 months when I joined.
Did you join when I was on the project?
I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't remember either. I think you might have. Did you join initially like as a PR member or did you join as something
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, I joined between update 2 and 3, I think.
Okay. I think I
Like
was already
they
on the team by update 2.
right.
I
The,
think.
the April Fool's update was the first one I worked on.
Okay. But you came on as PR and you were just PR right away, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
Someone asked if we plan to do a commentary mode, like in the episodes of Half-Life 2.
I would love
I
to
think
do
that'd be
that.
fun.
I would love to do
Yeah.
that.
I don't think we've decided one way or the other, but I'd enjoy it.
Yeah, that would be fun. I want to. Man, I can't wait for like little ways to include ourselves into the game. You know how like developers do that sometimes? Like they'll have an Easter egg where like
Yeah.
if you jump behind this thing and glitch in the game and then go down this hallway, there's like one of the project developers like standing there like a picture cutout or something of him like that. I always love that, and I feel like you don't find that in modern day games as much. Like there's less kind of like Easter eggs and things hidden.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I miss about modern day video games is cheat codes.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
like glitching out of games. I remember in like Halo 2 or something like one of the original Halo games, like the older ones, if you were to get outside of like a campaign level and you got like all the way outside the bounds of the game, you got to a point where it was like a wall, and if you jumped over the wall, it would just say right like you're not supposed to be here. How'd you get out of here?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Someone asked if did you play Dead Space 3 by any chance?
Dead Space 3, I don't know. I played Dead Space 1 and 2. I know that. I don't think I played the third one. Was the third one with all like the microtransactions and stuff?
I don't know. Blockistic asked if we were going to succeed in Arctic atmosphere where Dead Space 3 fell flat, but I did not play that game,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I'll have to look that up. I don't know. I don't know if he wants to elaborate what he means.
Yeah. Well, what did Dead Space 3 not do well?
I remember Lost Planet. That was a cool game. That took place in the Arctic, I think. Have you ever played that one?
No, I think I saw a friend playing it once, but I didn't play it myself.
That was a cool game.
But it looked cool, yeah.
Yeah, it had like crazy giant monsters. Oh my god, I'm starting to. It's all coming back to me. It had like really insane monster designs. It was I don't even know whatever happened to that game. That was cool. I like that game a lot. I need to add more stuff.
I feel like that might have been one of those games that had a disappointing sequel and everyone lost interest.
Lost Planet. I did have a
Yeah.
sequel. I remember that.
GEC Industries asking if Valve has any thoughts on the project or if they don't care at all. I assume they have thoughts and commentary. They haven't told us any of those. We've not spoken to them. They've not sent us any messages. But I assume they've seen the project at this point, right?
Yeah.
But who knows?
They probably don't care. They don't care.
Havoc the Mushroom asks, will toxic head crabs and vortigons get fluffy as well?
Oh man. Oh man, a fluffy
knows?
vortigon. What would that look like? That's insane. They are pretty gross and like skin.
They'd look like a big fluffy bear if they were.
They would look
If they
weird.
had fluff.
Just a big pimp coat on. Oh man. That is so weird. I don't know why I haven't even thought of that. I'm glad whoever recommended that. That's hilarious. Now I'm thinking about it and just like, oh, gross. That's awesome. Somebody should do that. Like, somebody should do like fan art or something like that of it. I would love to see how that looks.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Blue Turret suggested we just give them winter coats.
Big old parka, yeah. I feel like a Vortigon would wear a parka. Like, that's like something they would wear.
Yeah.
They're too hip to not wear that to wear anything else. I feel like this is only now starting to come together. Like up until this point, I was like, oh man, I'm embarrassing myself. But now it feels like it's getting somewhere.
Yeah, so this is the slightly more snow and ice, right? And then are you doing a third one?
Yeah, I might revisit this one. This one I feel like I'm starting to get into the swing of things. The one before it, this guy, I don't know. He feels like it just, the design is not really clear of like what's happening. But this one definitely feels already very like frozen and cold. I was trying to look up Frozen concept art. Like I was trying to look up Frozen, like just me saying that already sounds wrong. But I was trying to look up like a Frozen T-shirt, like a T-shirt caked in ice, and I looked up Frozen T-shirt, and it just came up like Frozen the animation. Like, damn it! It's like these like pop culture things are like polluting good references. I can't just find a Frozen T-shirt. I have to look up like
really
caked T-shirt with ice or something. I gotta get super specific.
Just go on thesaurus.com and look for words that aren't frozen.
Yeah.
I Feel Nothing asks if our team has been contacted about the Half-Life documentary from NoClip. Yes, and Mike, who is
good
drawing,
question.
is going to be in it.
Yay.
3 people from our team got interviewed about the project and what we're doing and how things are going, including Mike.
Yeah, we totally got some good old interviews in there.
What was the experience like? I know we talked a little bit about it earlier, but
it was surreal, man. It was so surreal. Like it was really surreal, but at the same time it was really cool. Like he made it really comfortable. Like as soon as we kind of came into his studio and we just started talking, and he was like, all right, and just started talking to us just like friends, you know. Like there wasn't like a weird like he's this person. It was very, very casual and cool, and he made us feel really comfortable. And there was a lot of like in his office. I feel like if you're a patron, you would see all the stuff he has in the background of his office. He has all this like all these toys, all these like kind of you know, when you like pre-order a game, you get like a statue. He has all of those things on different projects they worked on. It was really cool. There was a bunch of cool Half-Life stuff, like the art book, a bunch of old like the old boxes for the game, like some action figures. I didn't know, like I don't know why but I didn't know that you can get like a Gordon Freeman and a little head crab action figure. And I totally bought one because I saw that he had that. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna take the little head crab that comes with it and model him to be a furry head crab.
Oh my god,
I'm doing
that'd be awesome.
I'm doing it, man. I'm totally doing it. I'm gonna go get some. I've never done it before. I've never worked with models or anything, but I've built my fair share of Gundams and things like that. But I'm totally gonna do it. I'm gonna see how it turns out.
I'd buy one.
Somebody got it. Somebody has to make one. There's so many people that make little plushies and all these things. Somebody has to make a furry head crab. We're putting that out there. Somebody's got to make a furry head crab plushie. It would be amazing. It would be amazing. The whole team. We would love you eternally. You'll get a free copy of the game. That would be so cool to see.
Yeah. Dimitrov's vocals ask if you're taking ideas from the original episode 3 concept arts, or if you're kind of ignoring them and doing your own thing.
I think with some of the concept art for like Alex, we did look at some of the leaked concept art they came out, like where she was wearing certain like winter-esque clothing. There's one of her wearing like Eli's jacket or something, and we thought that was kind of cool. So for Alex specifically, I know that we did look at the concept art that was released, but and we kind of used that as inspiration or kind of as a jumping off point. But for most of the concept art, we most of the leaked stuff is kind of like, well, it doesn't look like it's really related to where our story is going, and so I think we look at it, but we don't ever have it like we're never like recreating it or anything like that. We definitely looked at it. It's really cool. It's different. That's the thing about coming back to initially when we brought it up. The concept art about the original games is like it was all very different. Like the styles were different. There was different mediums. It's not always digital. It was sometimes traditional, and it looked really different and unique. But for us, we just kind of looked at it as inspiration. But I don't think there was a lot we could really get from it that gave us anything new, like gave us any kind of new idea or new looks. There wasn't too much like concept art that got leaked that was like really revolutionary or crazy, or like pushed any boundaries, or it didn't really create too many questions. Some of the concept art, it was all pretty safe in terms of what was leaked. There was more like story stuff, like, oh, we know they're going to be in the Arctic because there's a helicopter crash and stuff in the Arctic. So there was a lot of like story based leaks, but there wasn't really any kind of like creative from like an artistic standpoint.
Right. Someone asked how we bring people onto the team. We have an openings page that I just put in chat. That link will take you to a list of all the people we're looking for at the moment to join the team. There's an application form. Stick in your details and your experience, and we'll let you know if we're interested.
Are we looking
in
for
bringing you
concept
on.
artists?
That's a good question.
Does it show it on there? I don't remember.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
We have openings for animators, particle effects artists, programming has openings, texture art, concept art, and 3D environment.
Yeah, we're looking for some 3D environment artists. I know that for sure. After update 4 was the last one we released, right?
Yeah.
After update 4, we got some really cool people applying, some really skilled people applying, and especially to concept art, which was fun. Some people I saw, I'm like, you're coming to the team like right now, like I want you to start today, but they have to go through the whole process and everything of onboarding. But yeah, there was a lot of people that applied. I'm like, oh my god, your artwork is so good, and they're like, dude, like I want to work on Half-Life, and it was just a bunch of like I'm like a fan of this person's artwork, and then they're a fan of like everything we're doing. I'm like, oh, perfect, you're a perfect candidate.
Yeah, I love the enthusiasm that everyone has on the team. You know, no one's, because it's not a real development studio with wages and jobs and things. No one's just there because it's a job.
Yeah,
everyone's here because they really want to be.
Yeah.
That enthusiasm's pretty awesome. Radio Arts asked if anything has been leaked yet from the team. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, not in any major way. Fingers crossed. Because we want it to be, fun when the game releases. Bit of a surprise.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to that question of like, if you read the original blog post, does it spoil the story? And like, yeah, I mean, in some ways, it's like there's not really much to leak because the story is out there. We're turning it into a game that's playable and that can be experienced in more ways than just reading it. When you read it, like for somebody like me, when I read it, I can imagine the game already. I can imagine playing it and everything. But for some people, they read it and they just read it as what it is. But when you play it, it's like a whole different experience.
Yeah. Or reminding me that I did once leak an entire word from the script.
Half. Oh my god.
I don't remember what it was, but someone asked me what the 333rd word was.
How long have we been streaming now?
We've been streaming for almost an hour and a half.
How many people are still watching? This is insane.
444.
Get out of here!
439
What are you guys all doing?
Don't actually go. Stay if you like. Havoc the Mushroom says that they love the look of the frozen headcrab zombie. How many years have you been drawing?
Thank you. First of all, thank you. We take that. I pass that compliment on to the rest of the team. How long have I been drawing? I mean, I've been drawing. Obviously, like the answer is like I've been drawing my whole life, but I started to digitally paint in college. So that was like maybe like 8 years ago. Yeah, like 8 years ago. My sophomore year of college, I started to digitally paint. Like that's when I discovered like digitally painting. I watched those like Fang Zhu videos. I'm sure everyone has seen. And I saw that and I was like, oh man, I want to do this. This is so fun. And I remember doing my first digital painting and it was complete trash. I'll have to post it. I'll have to post it to the. I think it would be cool. Like how they have those Throwback Thursdays. I think it'd be cool if some of our artists shared their earlier artwork.
Is that your cat I can hear?
That is my cat. I think he wants to eat. I think I might have to go feed him. Would I be able to? Would you be able to hold down the fort?
I can hold down the fort, sure.
Right. I'm gonna go feed my cat.
cat.
He's never gonna leave me alone.
I'll take some questions from chat while you're away.
Okay.
Mark Leber asks, how about dialogue tree? Unlikely. We're kind of trying to stick to the Half-Life 2 core gameplay, The game isn't going to be hugely different from episode 2 in the way that it plays, so I think a dialogue tree is unlikely. Kaiser asks, when is the next update? We don't have a public date for that just yet. It won't be until the new year. So it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a little bit further away than between the last couple of updates, because various internal reasons. But that's part of the reason we're doing these development streams. Tide you guys over to the next update. Mr. Zero asking if the performance test problems are fixed. Yes, internally. We have a new update for the performance test that's coming out pretty soon that should hopefully fix the remaining crashing issues and the issues with people not being able to open the game. So we should have that out pretty soon. And then you guys can run that test again and give us some more useful data that'll help us optimize the game. Blockistic asking about whether management was built with a long-term project longevity in mind, with the long-term possibilities of staff coming or leaving. That's a good question, and it's a pretty broad question, to be honest. It's hard to answer specifically. Obviously, with everyone being volunteers, people come and go a bit more often than in a typical development team. So that's a challenge for us. But yeah, we're trying to build the team in such a way that when people come and go, it's not too big a deal. Everyone has published their work and it's online and available for other people, and we're documenting stuff. So we try and minimize that as much as possible. For anyone just joining us, wondering where Mike the artist has gone, he went to feed his cat. Do we know when the game is going to be released? No. We have some internal ideas and milestones, but we haven't announced anything just yet. Stone Age Production asking if this is the first live stream and will we be doing more? Yes, it is the first. We're seeing how it goes. We're interested to hear what you think about how it's going. And yeah, we're going to do some more. If you guys have enjoyed this, let us know, and we'll do some more. We'll try and get some other teams on. We'll get programming on, showing how they're working with Unreal Engine, and get level design on, making some levels. 3D might make some 3D models for the game. Yeah, Honza, you're right. We have had live streams before, but only for our game nights, and they've been over on Twitch. So this is the first development stream we've done. Do we have any theories if Mark Laidlaw was talking about the Half-Life community at the end of Epistle 3? I think that's what we're assuming. It seems fairly obvious that it's kind of referential of Valve, and not actually part of the story.
I'm back.
Hey, is your cat happy?
Yeah, he's eating. Got his face full of food.
Awesome.
I don't know if there's any other, but I don't know how many people are in the stream who are also like Photoshop, digital painters, anything like that. But this is probably not a unique problem to me, but I have this problem of having a layer where I don't know what it is, and then I just like turn it on and off a bunch to try to figure out like if there's anything affecting the actual painting.
You say that. Someone just now was like shaking their head because you don't name your layers.
Oh yeah. I just do this and like that's the layer that does that, and then I mean like
just name them.
Yeah, if I have a massive file, like if I'm about to pass my PSD onto somebody else, like onto another artist, I will name the folders and the layers and everything like that. But most of the time, for myself, I don't really. I'll have them all like this, and then I'll merge it all into one, so that it's all just like one like that, and then paint over top of that. I do that too. I know it's blasphemy, but I do that too.
Table Legs is telling you to name your damn layers. On pain of not answering everyone's questions on YouTube.
I'll name this one. Table Legs. There we go. It's super tiny, but you can read it.
Someone asking if we're planning to add new types of weapons or bringing back some weapons from the beta. Can we give any hints? We're playing around with some things, you know. That's been my answer to a lot of stuff today.
Yeah, that's like the theme.
We're investigating.
Guys, we gotta keep the stream about Rampart, all right?
No
questions about that.
We're your main bunch of weapons are going to be the weapons you had at episode 2, right? We're continuing from that game. We don't want to depart too far from that and add 10 new amazing weapons. Yeah, but there's a chance that we might play around with 1 or 2 new weapons.
I don't think that's anything. I'm just cleaning up a little bit.
Havoc asks if the proportions of the headcrab zombies are designed to be realistic.
They are to a certain degree. So like, we are using like a pretty anatomically correct base figure for all the stuff, for like all the concept art and modeling and everything. But I think we are trying to keep it like pretty accurate. Like I think ultimately when it goes into the game, we'll have to see like how clear certain parts of the zombie are, and if there's parts that are less clear, more clear, or like not clear enough, like his hands are not clear enough, or you can't see the guts well enough, then we'll have to go and maybe make them bigger or something and change and tweak it there. But as of right now, I think we're trying to stick to keeping it pretty anatomically correct.
Right, and I know that in some concept art, like not everything in the art is supposed to be entirely accurate, right? Like I know in the Alex concept arts, like some people were saying like, oh, her face doesn't look quite right, but the face wasn't the point in that concept art.
Yeah. No, we don't. I mean, yeah, it's exactly right. Like the face isn't the focus. The everything else is. But I mean, that's fair. That's still a fair criticism, right? Like that's still fair. Like if it doesn't look like her, then yeah, that's totally fair to say that. I think this will be the stage 1 though. The stage 1.
Eric Wright has some advice regarding layers.
Oh god.
He says, go to the top right menu thing in the layers box. Click panel options, tick layer bounds instead of entire document.
I'll do it later. It's gonna change up my whole workflow, man. I'm not ready for that.
What's our plan for the interior of the Borealis? Have we done any concept art there yet?
No, I don't think we have. Borealis is something I think we're gonna start tackling soon. Like we're all kind of tackling all the concept art, like because we have about 8 artists on the concept team, and we're all kind of each artist is working on a different portion. Like some stuff like that's new, some stuff that's old, some stuff that's kind of like coming back, and stuff for like the Borealis. Like for example, the model for the Borealis exists already, right? Like there's a picture of it. So, or when we do the concept art for it, we're gonna have to have a big old brainstorm meeting about how it's gonna look, how it's supposed to look in the game. You know, how big is it, everything like that in relation to everything else. We haven't even touched on it, but there's some really interesting story elements happening with it, and that's exciting.
Yeah. Dimitrov's Vocals asks, are you guys playing a multiplayer mode like co-op or deathmatch? We're not at this stage. You know, we're really kind of focused on making sure we've got that single player episode 3, you know, game finished. Maybe afterwards, you know, after that main game is released, we'll think about multiplayer. It's a bit like VR, you know, we're trying to keep the scope as small as possible. We're not going to add VR and multiplayer and all these other elements. But we might come back to it.
Trying to think. I might group all this.
So are you taking that second ice zombie with all the ice on it and then kind of layering on top of that rather than starting from scratch?
Yeah, because I like the base of this, but I want to build upon it. So I want to try to build something less. This is pretty realistic, just in terms of like where the snow is. It's pretty evenly distributed, but I want to try some where it's not so evenly distributed. It's a little bit more like, maybe it seems like a little bit more purposed. Like there's a purpose to where the snow is and where it isn't.
Sure.
I wonder if we can ask chat like what's something else they would want to see streamed by us.
Yeah. Let's take that in chat if you have any ideas or interests. What do you guys want us to see? What do you guys want to see us working on? Someone just says gameplay.
That's easy. That's too easy.
Got a few votes for level design, some programming. Soundtrack development. Yeah, that's an interesting one. We could do that.
That is an interesting one. I would watch that. I would watch that. I would like to see PR, a live stream of PR. I don't even know.
Me typing documents.
Google documents, yeah.
Answering people's questions.
You like hitting your head against the wall trying to figure out like how to say something without like saying too much.
Yeah. Max asks if there's any voice actors on the project. There isn't yet, technically. We have sound designers who are doing some voice work, but their main focus at the moment is other sounds.
I think I'm gonna be doing the voice of Gordon Freeman, right?
Yeah? Do you want to do your impression?
Hey, I'm Gordon Freeman.
Christ.
That's my impression, dude. That's it. It's done. You didn't record that? It's gonna cost you for the next one.
Someone suggested we should do a poll for the next stream. That's a good idea. I like that.
We should. Hey man, any way to get this person is doing PR, telling us to use polls and everything. That's PR right there. So right now I'm adjusting his fingers into a new position, thinking about how I want the snow to be. Maybe I want to create like some kind of ice claws or something, ice daggers. Because here they're just hanging. Oh no, he's back. He's back. He's hungry. He wants more. He hungers. Let me try to see if I can take care of this 1 second.
Who knew the stream would not be sabotaged by technical issues, but by a cat? It would be cool to do a voiceover for multiple languages. That would be cool. I don't know if that will happen, just because it would be a lot of work to add that. We'll definitely be doing subtitles for other languages, I'm sure. Can we just get a stream of the cat? That's what you guys care about. You don't want to see Project Borealis. You just want a cat. Major differences between episode 2 and this game. Maybe hard to define right now because we don't know fully what's going to be in our game, but we want the differences to be small, right? We want the game to feel like, you know, you've just finished episode 2 and you pick up Project Borealis and it feels right. You know, it feels like Half-Life, feels like a natural progression. So we're not going to have any huge differences, right? We're not making Half-Life 3. Havoc asking if we can do an art stream of concepts of fluffy antlions and vortigons. Fluffy antlions, there's an idea. I'm gonna say maybe on that one. Mike's cat is secretly working for Boreal Aleph and trying to sabotage PB.
His hunger knows no bounds, man.
Someone just claimed that he's an infiltrator for Boreal Aleph, trying to sabotage our game.
Distracting. There's like a thing in Harry Potter when you can transform into an animal. I forgot what it was called. Do you know what it's called?
No.
It's that.
Sorry.
I'm sure we got some Harry Potter fans in the chat that can solve that.
Horvath asking if we're streaming from USA or Europe. Technically we're streaming from the USA, but I am in Europe. Mike is in the US and I'm in the UK.
Can the people in our chat right now who are there comment where you're watching from, what country? Let us know what country you're watching this from.
Eric says it's called Transfiguration.
In Harry Potter? In the Harry Potter lore? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I believe it. I can't doubt him. I don't know. But I assume he's right.
Whoa.
What?
The chat just like jumped down about 50 messages at once. We've got people from France, UK, Germany, Sweden, the Netherlands, Argentina, Norway, Germany, Belgium, USA, Czech Republic, Ukraine, Canada, Spain, Lithuania, Belarus, Russia, Romania, Scotland, Ireland. That's crazy.
Wonder if we got anybody from Uzbekistan.
That's a pretty random one.
Probably not. That's where I'm originally from.
Oh.
Yeah. Where are my Uzbekistan people at? Represent. Oh, all right. Never mind.
Someone says they're from Hell, Michigan. Is that a real place? Is there a place called Hell?
Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah. No,
a few
that's
people
Hell.
saying they're from City 17.
Ah.
That's awesome to see so many people from different places.
That is cool. Man, you named off pretty much. It just sounds like you're like looking at a globe and just reading.
Yeah, just like spinning it and like picking random names. Someone says, do we have any people from Russia in the concept art team?
Yeah. We got well, I'm from, like, I was born in Russia, but we've got some people who are currently living in Russia on the concept art team.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think yeah, when I look at like the YouTube analytics or whatever, the big numbers are from the US and Russia. Like we have a lot of fans from Russia.
Yeah, we have even there was like, I think when update 4 came out, there was like there was a Vkontakte page for Project Borealis that somebody had gone and made and was basically keeping everyone, it's like a Russian Facebook, and they're keeping everyone updated on like our progress, and they're taking our videos and redubbing them in Russian. It's insane.
Yeah, I've spoken to them a little
cool.
bit. They're really cool.
That's such a cool thing to do. That's so humbling to know that that's happening. Gotta respect.
Delu asks how we turn concept art into 3D models, which might be more of a question for the 3D modelers, but I don't know if you have anything to say on that.
Yeah, that's more of a question for 3D modelers. I really can't comment on that. But usually they work really closely with us in terms of like what they want, what they need. If they need turnarounds, if they need more like clarification on stuff. But I think they just go straight into whatever their modeling program of choice is, like Blender or ZBrush or whatever. They start developing it there.
yeah, hopefully we'll have them on the stream soon, and they can show you in practice how they go from some concept to a model. Elios asking if we're going to hire people for translations. Yes, at some point. We'll get people on the team who can translate the game into major languages. Obviously, that's like one of the last things that we'll do in development, so it's a while off yet. But yeah, eventually. Henry Ambrose asks if these zombies have just been dormant in the snow, letting it gather. It would be cool to see one laying against a wall, waiting to get up and scare you. Have you? Are you just kind of designing these sort of from a naive like ice plus zombie standpoint, or are you thinking about like how they work from a lore perspective or in game?
Yeah, there's definitely some thought put into that part of it. Like, for this one specifically, I don't think there is any kind of like reason for how he got the snow in there, but yeah, I think like some of the bigger, heavier ones, the idea kind of the general thinking is they were maybe like sitting up against something, or they were just kind of like idle, and water or something got on them and they didn't notice. And yeah, I'm not like crazy about like the explanation for how they get it. Hasn't been like too much thought put into like how specifically they get the water on them. There is like an idea for it, because there has to be a little bit of a background for it to make sense. But essentially they just kind of were sitting still, or they got snowed on, or something fell on them, or they got encased in like a waterfall or something, I don't know. Then they kind of broke out of it as much as they could. So that's kind of the general idea of how we're playing with it. And so with concept art, it's like if you imagine ice breaking, it breaks in so many different parts. So it's one of those ideas that's so early where we don't know if like we're gonna have a set design to them, or if it's gonna be like always dependent on where they came from, or if they're just gonna kind of exist.
Right. Yeah, and on the topic of breaking, some people in this chat have been saying they would like to see like the limbs being able to break off, or
That would be so awesome.
break the ice in some way.
That would be so cool. They're not alone. Yeah. I would love to see that too.
Edward Kenway gets the feeling that it's going to be an open world game. It will not be an open world game. We're not, I've said it a couple times this stream, but we're not going to diverge far from the way that Half-Life 2 plays. It's going to be a pretty linear game, but linear in the sense of a Half-Life game, right? It has some open areas, it has areas that feel bigger than they are, that kind of thing. It's not going to be an open world game.
Take a doodle break.
What do you mean by a doodle break?
I don't know, I just wanted to kind of draw something silly that's not
would you like a chat request for a doodle?
Sure.
Alright, what would you like to see Mike draw?
It can't be like not safe for work.
Preferably something Half-Life related, I guess.
Yeah.
Soggy Plane says Lamar with a beanie.
Lamar with a beanie? That's just a head crab with a beanie. I can try that, yeah. Let's see. Try that. I mean, okay. It's just a head crab with a beanie.
Eric suggests that you draw a zombie with a fluffy head crab on him and then cover him in ice and snow.
Oh my god, that's so original. Give that man word.
Okay, Keegan suggests that the beanie should be green and red so that it's Christmas and festive.
Oh, that's such a good idea. Would it be like covered in lights?
Oh yeah, you could put like Christmas lights around the hat.
Oh, I love
little star on top.
Christmas. I love Christmas so much. Favorite season? Or, that's not a season. What is it? Celebration, holiday. Yeah. Okay, let me just draw his regular body first. This is gonna be like leaked concept art for they're totally doing a beanie wearing they're totally doing a beanie wearing head crab. How dare they? This is not lore. Alright, so a beanie. Would it be like slumped? Or should it be like H3 style?
I'll leave it up to you.
I'd probably make it just slumped.
Alright.
Yeah, I want it to be kind of realistic. We're going for realism here, guys.
Realistic head crab beanie.
Yeah.
Stone Age Production says, you said that Freeman will have voice acting. Why is that? We didn't say that. We might have made a joke about Mike pretending to be a Gordon Freeman voice actor.
I said that I was going to do the voice. And then I said
but it was a joke.
The voice would be, this is me, Gordon Freeman. Hello, this is me. Welcome to the game. It's a freaking like, he's talking the entire time. It would be like the mind of Freeman. It'd be like talking and nobody can hear him.
You can email me at gfreeman@valvesoftware.com.
gfree.man. Does it? Oh, it needs to. Oh, you know what? It needs to have a little. It needs to have a little ball on top. A goo goo. Oh, it's so cute. I think we're not oblivious to how cute the head crabs are. I'm pretty sure they're like the cutest thing in the entire game. We on the team especially are not oblivious to it.
Yeah, I mean, for the April Fool's update, we've made some cute little gifs for the Discord.
Goo goo gaga, and it jumps on your face, eats you. So is that kind of it? Oh, it needs to have needs to be colored.
Yeah, need some green and red, some lights.
We'll just give it a default. What is this stream turning into?
Hey, you wanted a doodle break.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to do this.
Someone's gonna tune in and be really confused.
Be like, what is this? This is a lie.
DG Beck just said, I joined and see this.
Yep.
We were doing some serious.
I'll just scroll over to this. Now. Yeah.
You can see it in the corner actually.
There you go. Make it bigger.
The ice zombies. Ooh.
What is it? Red? Red and green hat.
Red and green. Yeah.
Should I make it red with like a green trim and then a green ball, or let's vote on this.
Yeah. How about red with a green trim and a white topper?
Okay, red with a green trim and a white. Oh, it's too bright.
Yeah. George Bad wants to see Christmas lights on the hat.
On it? On the hat? On the hat, jeez.
Yeah, like looped around, like a kind of goofy Christmas hat.
Yeah. So white. Okay, let's see. This thing is the cutest thing ever. Oh, and green.
Yeah.
Okay. Our devs who are watching this are probably like, Jesus Christ. Wasting the fans' time.
Yeah, we've been doing serious work for like an hour and 45 or something.
Yeah, we deserve a break.
Yeah.
Yo.
Eric says, it's your boy H3H3 here. I've been turned into a head crab.
There you go.
Yeah, Daniel points out how silly it must be to stream through YouTube. See, development stream concept art, whoa. Click in and find a head crab with a Christmas hat.
Whoa, Half-Life Episode 3 is being developed? Wait a second. I think I'm gonna finish this off stream.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna have to, I'm getting too sucked into it. I'm gonna have to.
Alright, doodle break over.
Alright, there we go. We'll just keep him over here for as a mascot. No, he's just looking over.
That's adorable. A few people saying it should be an Easter egg in the game now.
Oh, that's funny.
We'll see
Just
about
the silly one, like coming out with a hat, like flopping around. Oh, it would be cute if like it didn't want to kill you. It just wanted to kind of like be there.
Just wanted to snuggle.
Mm-hmm. And then it actually does like do some massive damage to you. It just wants to snuggle.
We need a plushie of that one.
Oh my god, there's just so many like versions of head crabs you could have. I wonder if somebody's done that. Like I wonder if somebody has gone and created like fan art of different types of potential head crabs. I'd be surprised
Probably.
if they haven't done that, yeah.
Mark's suggesting that we should do some community games like community CSGO. We kind of do that already. If you join our Discord, we play games. Not as much recently as we have done in the past, but we're trying to get back into it.
Yeah.
Um,
Didn't we do something recently?
yeah, a week or two ago, we played
Borealis.
Sven co-op. There was 16 of us barreling our way through Half-Life 1. We got to Zen in like 2 hours. It was crazy.
Was that with Borealis too?
Yes.
How did that go? I didn't get to be a part of that. I didn't catch that.
It was really fun. It was a lot of fun. I didn't realize quite how chaotic Half-Life 1 would be when you cram 16 people into those like tight corridors. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I've just put the link for our Discord in the chat. So if you want to get involved in the game specifically, if you join that and go to the roll spam channel, there's a little command you can put in there that gives you the gaming role, and you'll see the game night chat. And we'll be playing some more games soon. I think we're going to do Synergy soon, which is like the same co-op, but for Half-Life 2. So we'll have however many people wrecking stuff in Half-Life 2. Shum asks what you're drawing on.
Tablet. Regular old tablet.
What model is it?
It's a Huion, Huion. Let me see if it says on the back like what kind of model it is. It's the WH1409 model. Pretty big. Oh, it's a big board, but it's flat and it's really like kind of minimal and sleek. I like it. I wanted to get a big tablet that had a lot of drawing space on it.
Neat. Does it have? Is it one of those ones that has a screen behind it as well, or is it?
No, it's just just a regular tablet. It doesn't have that would be like a Cintiq, something like that, I think. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh. No, I just noticed a guy in there.
Deathmedic asks how many hours we plan the campaign to last on a normal explorative pace. We're kind of too early in the game to say for certain right now. We're going to be playing around with a lot of stuff as we go on in development.
Yeah.
But like we're broadly aiming for like episode 1, episode 2 sort of length.
How long
that's sort of like. I mean, episode 1 was like maybe 3 hours, 4 hours. It was pretty short.
Yeah.
Episode 2 was longer. It was like 6 or 7 maybe.
Yeah, it might be closer to something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Closer to episode 2 length.
It's that sort of range. We're not making a 20-hour game.
Bunch of DLC. I got a new question for you.
Sure.
This is like after we've been streaming already for like an hour or so.
Mm.
What? This is a weird one. You sure?
I mean, maybe.
It's safe for work, but it's just weird.
Can I reserve the right to not answer?
Yeah, and then we can,
Okay.
I guess, let the chat answer if they want to answer.
Sure.
What was what was the last thing you ate out of the garbage?
What?
You ever like throw something away and then you're like, I wasn't done eating that, or it's still
No.
good?
Literally never. When did you last do this?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't want to say now because I feel like I'm the only one who's done that. You never like threw away something and it's like the very top of the garbage. You're like, that I shouldn't have thrown that away. That's still good. Like an apple with one more bite left in it.
The most common word in chat right now is what?
Oh man. So you
It's
never
really
did
cool.
that. You've never like thrown some food away. You're like, it's too early. Throw it away. It has like one more bite left in it.
No,
Well.
I'm sorry.
Have you ever eaten something that was like really old, like past its expiration date?
Yeah, sure. Like that happens all the time. Like I eat a sandwich or something. And I'm like, oh, this has mold in it. Whoops.
Ooh.
Like just a tiny bit. Just like you just notice like a little spot, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. I think I've eaten mold. I think I've eaten like moldy cheese by accident before. You know, thinking it's like blue cheese or something.
Max is. Sorry, go on.
I'm just saying, like, there's probably, I'm sure there's people in the chat who have eaten something out of their own garbage. They're just not gonna.
I'm sure there are people in the
admit
chat
to
that heard that question and went, and closed the stream.
All right, this is not the type of game I want to play.
Max asks if we have concept art of the main characters like Alex, Gordon, and G-Man. We have some concept art of Alex. I don't think we've shown any other main character concept art, right?
No, I don't think we have. Just like side characters like the resistance fighters, things like that. Zombies, zomboyos.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam, do you have Tim Tams in the UK?
No. What is that?
Oh my God, they're like this really delicious cookie. It's like a. I was gonna ask you a question about Tim Tams, but it's irrelevant.
But I have no idea what that is.
I feel like you gotta have it. I think it's like an Australian cookie, but it's basically like a square kind of like cracker. It's like an Oreo type design, but it's like square and then covered in chocolate.
I just googled them and I don't think we have them here.
Oh man, you're missing out. You're missing out.
Daniel Spirian wants an exclusive sneak peek only on stream. That's what this is. This is the exclusive sneak peek.
I mean, we showed something earlier, didn't we? I mean, these are kind of like haven't been seen before. The turnarounds and stuff. I mean, you guys, you know, like we're not gonna freaking spoil the whole game now. And this is the first stream, so we're just kind of testing the waters, seeing what the interest is, seeing how many people are interested in watching something like this. And then maybe next time we can plan to make it a little bit of a bigger deal. Right, Sam?
Yeah. We'll see how it goes, see what people are interested in. It's also about like what's already being worked on, because I can't just like go to the programming team and say, hey, you're working on this now, because we need to show it on stream.
Yeah. Okay, here we are. I'm lost. Okay, we're good.
Igor asking if we have any weapon-related concept art. Do we have any?
You think? Or kinda? I mean, kinda, but it's just not really like developed.
Right.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, because for the most part, like we have full 3D models for those games, for those things from Half-Life 2 that are like pretty detailed and.
Yeah. Like a lot of the 3D modelers are using the original models to explain like some of the angles. That's like one of those things where you don't really need concept art of it because the original model is so good, or it is like detailed enough, gives you enough info.
Oh, I said that I can't tell programming to just do something for stream.
Yeah.
Mastercoms is in chat, who's our programming lead. She says that we definitely can do that.
Oh no. She's against us. I mean, you just didn't want to like put her on the spot. Be like, yo, we expect this now because chat wanted it.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice, you know.
Yeah. Watch out. But if she, I would definitely tune into a program stream. I would love to see how all that stuff gets made. That stuff is such a mystery to me.
Yeah, definitely. Someone suggested that the zombie should have hands frozen to the point of forming like clubs.
That's kind of what's going on here, I think, right? No? That's kind of my thinking for it. Maybe it'll get there. Oh, like maybe big, like rounded clubs.
Yeah, they're probably thinking like, big blocks, you know, to like smack you over the head with.
A cool idea. It makes me think of that one Dead Space creature. You've probably never played Dead Space, have you?
I have not.
It's like this one. I think it's like one of his one arm is like a giant glowing, mutated sack or something, and he kind of like lugs it around, and if you shoot it, explodes. Makes me think of that. That's neat. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Huh. Whip03 suggests that if you play the game on Christmas Day, that all the headcrabs should have beanies.
Oh my god, that's true.
Which I think is a great idea, and I am not allowed to make that decision. But if I could, I would.
We're gonna pass that up to whoever can get that happen. We're gonna make sure that happens. That sounds so cool. I love when games do that. Like I love when they, are kind of aware of like the real world time and then include things like Halloween themed things or.
Yeah, there was what game did that specifically? Oh, it was like Arkham City, like one of the Batman games.
Mm-hmm.
There was Calendar Man, who is apparently a Batman villain.
That's funny.
How ridiculous. Anyway, and if you went to him on like Valentine's Day or Christmas Day or Easter Sunday, he'd like do something unique.
That's cool. They do that in GTA. I think they make it snow or something inside the game.
Huh. That's cool. Claus asks if all the zombies will be wearing the same clothes or if there'll be some variation.
I think there's definitely going to be some variations because it's like they're not like it's not always the same like person or something like that. It would make sense to have. We want it to be understood that these are different type of people. These are different roles and different people that have been infected. And I think it just adds more depth to the game. Or not infected, but have been consumed or whatever.
Yeah, just from a practical point of view, I think we have more scope to do that kind of thing. We don't have as many memory or engine limitations.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the part that's fun, and I think that's gonna make the game feel a lot more real. Like, even though it's sci-fi and everything like that, it's gonna feel. Just that alone is gonna be enough to be like, oh wow, it's gonna make you like. I already feel kind of bad for the zombies because they're just regular people and they're just screaming inside for help.
Yeah, it's pretty horrifying, really.
Like, you ever listen to just the recording of them screaming? You ever listen to that?
Yeah, and isn't it like something horrifying when you reverse it?
Yeah, they're like, God help me.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's really, and like, it's funny, but at the same time you're listening because they say like yaba and stuff. But when you listen,
my icing.
Yeah, like that part is always funny. But when you listen to it, I always get chills. I'm listening to like, oh God, it's like somebody in the booth is like really giving it their all.
Yeah, voice acting is super important for a game like this.
Especially for Gordon Freeman.
Hansa says it's yaba my icing.
Yaba your icing. I think this was the initial idea for what I'm gonna do, but go ahead.
Monster asks if this game will be on consoles. The answer is probably not, because that is a whole load of extra like work and licensing issues. So that's pretty unlikely.
Maybe you'll play it with like a controller though, maybe.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm sure I'll have controller support. Yeah.
That's all that matters.
I mean, I've made that promise. I don't actually know if that's true, but I imagine.
Mastercom should be in the chat. Cannot comment nor deny. Said. What time were you thinking about wrapping this bad boy up?
I don't mind. I didn't really have a clear
Yeah, me neither.
end time. I figured we'd go for an hour or two and see how it goes.
Yeah, I really thought we would have like 5 people, and then we would just kind of end it early.
Yeah.
And those 5 people would be like comms, some of the other developers, and then like one of our moms or something.
Yeah. How close do you think you are to finishing this middle one?
I'm
Or the one you're currently on?
I think I'm pretty good on where I am now. I'm just kind of noodling and adding like little details here and there. I mean, we really can just play it by ear. We can see how the chat feels if they feel like they're getting tired. I didn't plan on working on anything other than this, so once this gets to a point where I think it's done or can be moved on from, then I think we could just end it there.
Yeah. Let me know when you think it's at a state where you're happy with it. A couple of people have been asking if we're going to get the voice actors returning from the previous games. Who knows? We're not at a point where we're getting voice actors on yet, so we haven't asked. But they are all professionals who tend to get paid for this kind of thing, and we don't have any money, so maybe. They'll be obviously our first choice. We'll speak to them and see if we can make that work. But if not, we'll try and find the best replacements we can. Keegan says they would love to see an ice zombie model with an ice spike straight through their chest.
Jesus, like sticking out like this?
I guess.
Just like sticking out like that? That's gnarly, I don't know. I'm like looking at it and thinking about it. That's pretty gnarly, man. That is pretty brutal.
Mastercoms, who's our programming lead, says that controller support will probably be a thing, especially if we're on Steam, because we can use Steam input.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So
there you go.
Oh, I wasn't lying, mostly.
I mean, if you can, playing it on console is really just about using the controller. Otherwise, it's all the same.
Edios suggests that we should have an Arctic hound eye, which is like the normal hound eye, but it has like wool. That's an interesting idea.
That is. These fans, man, they got some good ideas.
Good idea.
It's funny because that. Oh, go ahead.
No, go on. I was gonna pick up another question.
No, I don't want you to lose it.
It's fine. I remember it.
Oh no. Okay, I was just gonna add that it's funny, like mentioning, like, or saying like the fans have good ideas because we're all like internally fans also. So we'll every once in a while we'll have like somebody who's not an artist be like, you should like put a spike through him, and be like, oh snap, and then we just do that. Sometimes it's exactly like how the chat is right now, where we have some fans that just people like on the project who are fans and say like, you should do this, and like, okay, and then just do it. See how it looks.
Yeah, that is the cool thing about working on this team. Like, everyone is a Half-Life fan. Everyone's here because they want to see this game specifically get made. Like, they're enthusiastic about this game. You know how I said I wouldn't lose the question?
Did you lose it?
Maybe.
Sam.
Oh, no, I found it. Piotrek asked how long into development we were. We are like just over 1 year since the team formed. But that's like literally since like day one, since like the first people said, hey, we should do this. A lot of the first year has been like organizing ourselves and figuring out how we're gonna make the game and the processes and the software and that kind of thing. So, it's not like a team of 80 people has been working on this for a year with like all their processes in place. But technically just over a year. The team formed on the very same day that Epistle 3 came out.
Did it really?
It's pretty cool. I was looking back on the subreddit at the very oldest posts, and it's really interesting to read back on those and see people saying like, hey, we need like these positions are open, and here's the Discord information, here's how you can get involved, and like we're actually going to do this, and people in the comments are like, whoa, this is amazing that you're actually doing this.
Yeah, I remember finding out about it through the Reddit, and it was like through the subreddit, like I was like, I have to apply, I don't care, I'll mop floors. I don't care, I just want to be involved somehow.
There were some people in the comments that are like, I don't think this will release before December. and it was like August.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa.
They're, like making these like really measured judgment calls about like how long the game is going to take, and it's like 4 months.
Yeah. Jesus.
Brandon says if this game doesn't come out on multiple platforms, we'll lose a large market of profit, which is true, except that we're not selling it. So technically, if this game comes out on every platform, we will also lose a large market of profit.
Yeah.
Because we will be making none. How many of the original developers are working on the project, and how often do people come and go? I worked those numbers out the other day, actually. I think it's something like a third to a half.
Like,
Somewhere around a third to a half of people who joined in like the first week are still on the project. You know, but I mean, it was a pretty chaotic time, right? Like, just like everyone was like diving in regardless of their experience, and so there's a lot of people who said like, okay, like this is really cool and I want to be involved. But I actually don't have any skills to bring to this at the moment, or they didn't have time, or whatever else. So yeah, still quite a few from the first days.
Ooh. I'm gonna give it one more thing and then I'll be done with it.
A random commenter wants it on Windows, Mac, and Linux. We're aiming for Windows and Linux support at the moment. Mac is less likely. We'll see how it goes, but at the moment we have Windows support for sure. Linux support is looking pretty likely, and Mac is less likely, but we'll see.
Linux. I've never heard it said like that before.
Oh yeah, that's just because I'm British. Linux, I don't know.
I'm sure that's like the right way to say it.
Havoc the Mushroom is heading off. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the questions, man. Well, this will be up on the on our channel, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I hadn't committed one way or the other because I didn't know if it was just going to go down in flames, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it went pretty well, so yeah, we'll leave it up on the channel.
There we go, naming the layers.
Haha, that last. User asks if this game's going to be full, free via Steam and multiple platforms in due time. Kinda. We're hoping for it to be on Steam. That's not confirmed yet, but it's something we're aiming for, and we're also aiming for it to be free. It won't be on consoles, because that's like a whole extra layer of stuff that we'd have to deal with there. But definitely on PC. And as I was just saying, like Windows and Linux, or Linux, and maybe Mac. You make me self-conscious about what I'm talking about.
No, don't be. It's fine. Linux.
Linux.
This. I think the next one might be just like a close-up of something, of an arm. Thinking.
If you finish that second one and we're at the 2-hour 15 mark, does it make sense to call the stream here?
We can, yeah. We can totally.
I think that makes sense. I think we could, like art, go on forever, but we should probably call it an end somewhere.
There we go.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. This was a lot of fun.
Yay! First stream. First stream. Thanks for all you original people for joining us for the first stream. You guys are the true fans.
Before you go, could you put in chat where you found out about the stream, where you saw it? Did you see it in your subscription box, or in Discord, or on Twitter? Because I had no idea how many people would join, and I don't know where people have come from, so that would be really useful to know. But thanks very much for joining us. Thanks for all your questions. I hope we answered at least most of them. And hopefully we'll be back soon for some more streams with some other teams. Get programming in here, or level design, 3D. Looks like most people have seen it in the sub box.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's cool.
That was an awesome stream. Thanks everyone for the questions. Thank you all for sitting and watching us try to fumble through this art and try to fumble through the answers. It was super cool. I'm happy with how it turned out, and yeah, we should totally do a poll like on the Discord or something to see what people want to see next.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Bye.
See you next time.